Today on Monkey Life. Big news as legislation banning the sale and trade of primates in England is announced at the park.
Thanks to this amazing place and this amazing person, we're going to bring an end to one of the grimmest trades in the UK.
Alison is delighted.
We're moving ahead with changing the laws, so hallelujah. Today's the day.
And woolly monkey Leroy shows he's growing up fast. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I'm shocked. This animal is living in fear of its life at all times.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. It's a momentous day for Alison and all those who've lobbied tirelessly for a change to the laws governing the legal primate pet trade in England. After years of campaigning, a new bill has been introduced to Parliament by the current government. The Kept Animals Bill proposes a ban on the breeding of primates as pets and the introduction of a primate licence for those animals already being kept. Animal Welfare Minister Lord Goldsmith is visiting Monkey World to announce it.
Thanks to this amazing place and this amazing person, we're going to bring an end to one of the grimmest trades in the UK.
Yeah, so on behalf of Betty Boo and all of the other marmosets out there, we're just hoping to protect them and care for them in a proper way. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Lord Goldsmith has worked alongside Alison for the last few years in an effort to get the law changed.
It's been pretty obvious to me for a long time that this trade needs to be ended. I'm in a position now where, working with colleagues in government, I can help get that done. But the campaign is Alison's and Monkey World's. This is it's long overdue. We don't know how many primates there are languishing in budgie cages on people's TVs around the country, but we know there are a lot. And it's a life not worth living. For anyone who knows anything about primates, you don't need to be an expert to know that it is just completely wrong to keep primates in those conditions. So we can do something about that, and we are doing something about that.
For Alison, it's an emotional day. The announcement is the culmination of years of hard work she started with her late husband, Jim Cronin.
This is everything coming together after 3 decades for us. We've been campaigning, we've rescued more than 120 primates from the British pet trade. We've been doing everything we can to look after and rescue those animals, but also to get something done to stop it continuing. And we're moving ahead with changing the laws, so hallelujah. Today's the day.
They were rescued, Mum and Dad?
Yes.
From the pet trade?
Yes.
What sort are they?
These are common marmosets. Actually, they're hybrids. Mom is a black-eared marmoset, and so the kids are half common, half black-eared.
Ruby, Oscar, and their 4 offspring are just one example of the large number of primates rescued over the years by Alison and her team at Monkey World. Many from horrendous conditions.
You guys are eating machines.
No one knows how many kept primates there are currently in England, but it could be in the thousands. Once the bill is passed, owners will have to register the primate in their charge, and then meet the standards laid out in the bill to obtain a primate licence.
Indoor-outdoor enclosures, companionship of your own kind, appropriate veterinary care, appropriate nutrition. All of those very basic things have to be provided if you're to keep these animals. So, in effect, we're demanding that only specialist keepers who do the right thing are allowed to keep them. And that's how it's going to begin. And hopefully, banning the financial trade in these animals will mean that there's no longer marmosets being sold in pet shops, in bird cages, on social media, over the internet. All of that should come to an end forthwith.
The bill will have a number of steps to go through before it becomes law.
The outcome we want is that the trade ends in the UK, that you don't find people keeping primates in miserable conditions. So we want to rehome existing pets or improve the conditions to such an extent that they're basically zoo quality. And those that can't be, we want them to be rehomed.
For all the primates already in the pet trade in England, there's hope of a better life to come.
For us here at Monkey World, the only thing we're interested in is that these animals that are kept, in whatever circumstance it might be, are kept correctly and appropriately, and that their needs are met.
While the new law is long overdue, it may cause some issues when it first comes into force. Primates belonging to owners who can't meet the conditions will need rehoming, and space at the park for new arrivals is limited, particularly for marmosets. To deal with this, in the past, Monkey World has rehabilitated individuals before rehoming them at other licensed wildlife centres, where they can be looked after in appropriate conditions. One such marmoset was Rattler, who Alison rescued nearly 10 years ago. A victim of the pet trade, he was being kept in appalling conditions at a flat in Plymouth.
They have to walk through their urine and feces to get to their food.
He was rehabilitated at the park before being rehomed at an agricultural college, Capel Manor in North London. At the time, the collaboration freed up space at Monkey World for more rescued marmosets. But a few weeks ago, Rattler returned.
Hey, Rattler, ma'am.
Sadly, the female that he was paired with, she's passed away. Rattler's on his own. They're concerned for him, so they got back in touch and said, is there anything you can do? Can you take Rattler back? And of course, our commitment's always to those animals that we rescue.
The timing was fortuitous for Rattler and a recent Monkey World arrival. Maggie, one part of the family known as the Simpsons, had been ousted by her mum, Marge, who had recently given birth to twins. Suddenly on her own, Maggie needed a partner. Cue Rattler.
Yeah, really nice to see him again. He looks good. He looks in a good condition. So as soon as we know that he's got a full, clean bill of health, then we'll introduce him to Maggie, and that should just help him no end. And it'll also help Maggie as well. These guys should be on their own.
The plan worked out well. Rattler passed his health checks and, within weeks, formed a loving bond with Maggie. And on the other side of the park, the rest of the Simpson family are doing well too.
Even though, ideally we don't want babies here because we want space for rescues, when we do have a family like this come in, it's lovely to see how it should be. And this is exactly how marmoset social grouping should be. You should have a mum and a dad. You should have the dad doing all the carrying and the caring, the mum doing all the feeding. And seeing that natural family unit, it just kind of hammers home how much some of the others have lost.
Today, the family are in for a puzzling and prickly treat. A breakfast of blueberries has been hidden in straw stuffed inside cardboard tubes and suspended from branches around their enclosure. They've also been given a seasonal treat, rosehips still with thorns attached. It's something the two infants have never seen before, and it's quite possible their parents haven't experienced it either. Mum and Dad are first into the enclosure, keen to check out what's new. The babies hang back in the tunnel, a little wary at first. It doesn't take long for Marge and Bart to work out there's food hidden in the cardboard tubes. Bart certainly has a taste for blueberries. While Marge kicks off her meal with a succulent bright red rosehip. Watching Mum and Dad tuck in reassures the infants, who make their way outside. They're now just over 6 months old, and the primate care team have established they're both boys. They've named them Ralph and Nelson. The twins are a lively pair and keen to learn.
They learn a lot from mum and dad. So any new feeds that we put in, mum and dad will show the youngsters by eating it themselves that it's something good and that they can come over and have some food. So somebody like the Simpsons, that've got the two youngsters who've got that natural setting, their parents are a really good way to teach them and to help them understand sort of how to go about being a marmoset.
It helps when you have a doting dad like Bart.
It's been really nice to see how naturally he's taken to the role of fatherhood, and it really kind of shows how much of that is just naturally ingrained in them, that need to look after the young and help rear them and have that sort of protective nature when it comes to having youngsters.
It goes to show that given the right care and attention, along with wonderful natural surroundings, these small primates thrive, no matter what their background. It's been all systems go for the park's Capuchin team recently. In the last few weeks, they've had 3 new arrivals. First, Alison rescued Matty and Louis from Borth Zoo in Wales. Then came Dodger, a male capuchin in need of companionship of his own kind, who came from a home in Kent. All 3 have begun to become familiar with their new surroundings, and it's now time for them to meet potential housemates.
So introductions in any group can be quite stressful, particularly for the animals that are involved and also the rest of the group that are potentially shut away in a different area. So we like to try and keep things really low-key, so we have absolutely minimal staff and people in the house, enough that we can keep an eye. Try and keep it nice and calm. Initially, those introductions won't be on public view, and then we can introduce gradually all of those things as time goes on and things are starting to improve.
Since arriving, Dodger has been kept apart from the park's established capuchin groups, while the team monitored him and allowed him to settle. During that time, he's had a health check and a vasectomy. Now he's been given the all-clear to move to a capuchin group. The park has 5, each different in size and demographic. Dodger is 27 years old, and because of that, the team have decided his best option is to join Gizmo's small group of 6. First, he needs to be boxed up for the move.
Good boy, well done. You're so good.
Dodger came into the crate really easily. The training that we've done really paid off, so yeah, that's really good.
Dodger is taken across to Gizmo's house, where Donna gives him time to explore the bedrooms before letting Gizmo into one opposite, giving the team the opportunity to gauge their reaction to each other.
So Gizmo can be a little bit unpredictable. He is from the pet trade and he's got a few issues going on in his head. So he does struggle socially, and also his communication skills are a little bit different to a lot of the other capuchins that we have.
With both animals calm, Donna decides to go for it and opens the slides to let the 2 meet face to face. The introduction couldn't go any better. Although Dodger's a little wary at first, the 2 males soon relax and appear comfortable in each other's company.
Gizmo was an absolute superstar. He had his play face on right from the beginning, and he was just generally interested to make friends, really. Dodger also was super chilled out, really confident, and they were both straight away happy to pass each other in the small tunnel section. And hopefully we'll see a bit more of that. They did a lot of onion rubbing together as well, and they were quite happy foraging around. So really it went as well as we could have hoped for.
In fact, the meeting has gone so well, Donna decides to move to the next level and let the pair have access to the outside enclosure together. Gizmo doesn't hang around. He's straight outside on the hunt for food. But there's no sign of Dodger.
Dodger! You coming outside?
He's still indoors, unsure how to get through the flap. Donna does some quick modifications.
Let's try that. Come on, Dodger! He's a good boy.
With encouragement from Gizmo, Dodger works out how to access the outside enclosure and sets off to explore. Gizmo's relaxed attitude to his new housemate helps reassure him. At his previous home, Dodger enjoyed outdoor space, and today, with plenty of room, he looks as if he's been at the park for years. But it might be a bit different when he gets to meet the 5 feisty ladies who make up the rest of this group.
We just need to consider when the right time to introduce them might be. So for now, we just want to try and keep it simple, just keep the 2 boys together, try and build up that relationship before we introduce the females, and all the dynamics will probably change. So we just want to give them a nice bit of space and, yeah, let them enjoy the outside enclosure in the nice weather.
While everything is progressing nicely with Gizmo and Dodger, the park's other 2 recent arrivals are also getting to know new housemates. Matty and Louie are settling into life at Erico's lodge. It's a bigger troop of 13, and so far they've met a couple of the more calm members, including Scarlett and Zoe. With so many individuals to meet, it's a slower process for the Borth twosome. But the team are positive all 3 new Capuchins will settle well and establish themselves as part of the Monkey World family. In the kitchen at the Top Woolly house, Primate care member Sharon is preparing a breakfast smorgasbord for Levar's family group of woolly monkeys. She's stuffed hanging baskets with straw and hidden nuts, seeds and raspberries inside. And now she's filling logs specially designed with the group in mind.
So we've just simply drilled a few holes around there, and I've made a nice little pulp with some blueberries and some baby food, and we're just going to pop that mush into the holes, hang these up throughout the trees, and again just to encourage these guys to get up off the floor and feed in a more natural way, so they're going to be up and enjoying this, and it'll probably keep them busy for most of the morning. So yeah, quite excited to see how they react to these today.
Sharon hangs the feeders all around the enclosure in hard-to-reach places. She wants the troop to work hard for their breakfast this morning. Woolly monkeys are arboreal, meaning they spend most of their time in the tree canopy. Levar's troops certainly make the most of their fabulous tree-filled enclosure. Olivia heads straight for a hanging basket and wastes no time rooting through the straw using her tail as an anchor. At 5 years old, she's still incredibly close to her mum Zingu. But she's reaching adulthood and could well have a family of her own in the near future. Zingu's youngest infant is Leroy. Just a year old, he's already developing into a special little monkey.
The confidence in him, as we've never really seen it in any of our youngsters at this age, even from 6 months on. He's been quite an independent little chap. He's quite happy to wander off from hang out with the big guys. Yeah, and he's incredibly agile for his age. He's quite an incredible little character already.
There have been some ups and downs for the group in recent months. Tragedy struck when Zingu's daughter Layla passed away suddenly after a short illness. But the group has remained stable under the leadership of Levar, who's been an alpha male for 20 years. However, the 2 younger males, Cosmo and Bueno Jr., are approaching adulthood, and things might be about to change.
It may be that Levar, now his grand old age of 31, is feeling slightly threatened that there's these 2 young chaps who are also very close, might want a bit of a takeover. So it's something that we're keeping a very close eye on. And yeah, at the moment we're really hoping that they can just kind of figure things out amongst themselves a little bit while we're sort of watching how Levar's getting on, that he's not compromised in any way as an older boy.
Bueno Jr. has recovered well from nasty hand and foot injuries he sustained a few months ago. His strength and agility have been unaffected. But the team are even more delighted with Cosmo. He had a major health scare last year when he lost a lot of muscle tone and weight. Fast forward to today, and Cosmo is thriving.
incredibly looking boy. He's still only just over 4 years old, but yeah, he's just looking absolutely amazing, finding his feet within the group, loving spending time with the big boys, him, Levar and Junior. They've all got quite sort of strong relationships. His sort of attitude's beginning to change, so he's starting to sort of discover how to interact with the ladies as well. So yeah, we're seeing him showing a bit of interest in some of the females and just kind of testing the water, throwing his weight around a little bit. So yeah, he's going through all the normal developments that we would hope to see a male at this age. And this time last year, we really weren't sure we would ever get there with him. So yeah, we're just absolutely thrilled.
And Cosmo still finds time for a play session with little Leroy. Levar's troop are a tight-knit family group, and the team are hoping it stays that way for years to come. The continuing COVID pandemic has made for a challenging time, but Alison and the team have battled through, continuing to care for the primates in their charge. Along the way, there have been some emotional losses, not least world-renowned wildlife vet John Lewis, an integral part of the park for 30 years. The team also said goodbye to 2 of the park's original chimps, Zoe and Jimmy.
I think we made the right decision for Jimmy today. It's really sad.
But the work goes on. This year, with the rescue of 3 capuchins, 2 patas monkeys, a Jeffroy's marmoset, and 6 common marmosets. And there's more to come, as Alison responds to calls for help for yet another marmoset.
Nice one, little one, huh?
As well as a red-bellied tamarin.
Hey, sweetheart. How you doing?
And with the opening up of international borders and no let-up yet in the British pet trade, who knows how many more next year could bring.